Hi everybody, welcome to another episode of the Kerbal Space Program. In this episode we're going to try and go to the moon. This is with the demo software, so I have pre-created a rocket, mainly because it would have been very tedious to watch me create it. So hopefully this will be slightly less tedious. So let's go here, load spacecraft. I called this one Alice after Alice Cramden from the Honeymooners because they would always say, "To the moon, Alice." So let's just go over. This represents the pinnacle of Kerbal technology, at least on my computer, on the demo. So it's a three-stage rocket. It has nine liquid rockets. The three center ones are the large ones. The six surrounding ones are smaller ones. This gives you directional thrust. I've had trouble controlling a ship this large when it gets to thinner atmosphere, so I find that the smaller rockets will help with that. It also has an array of solid rocket boosters. How many is that? 9? Is that 9 total? Yeah, I think that's 9 as well. So we got those right there. The middle stage is three large rockets, and you can see there's a single to tri-coupler right here. And then we have our upper stage, and we have some directional fins and then some RCS thrusters. This is an RCS fuel tank right there, I do believe, which will help give us directional stability, during the mission. Let's see, is that pretty much it? We also have an advanced stabilizing computer. They call it an SAS. So that will use the fins, the rockets down here with the vectored thrust, obviously just during the first stage, and then also the RCS. You can turn those on and off separately. So let's just go over our various stages. So we have 9 solid rocket boosters, 9 liquid rockets, and this isn't quite right. So let's just go in. So what I want to do is say, who are these, all these things. So the solid rockets are going to, these are the solid rockets. So I need to create a stage here because those are going to burn out rather quickly, right? And there's a total of, oh, wait a minute. Maybe these all are solid rockets. So this is solid rocket. Okay. So let's put these guys back. Put these guys back. Get rid of that stage. And then who are you? Yeah, these are solid rockets too. So you all go together. Okay, now I got it all figured out. So this will jettison, so it's 3 sets of 3, right? Right. Yeah, because I have one attached to each of the outboard rockets and then one attached to each of the inboard rockets. And this will separate the third stage. So this separates the solid rockets. This separates the third stage. This is the second stage, and this separates the first stage, right? Right. So our plan is to hit the moon. So we'll see how close we come, but chances are infinitesimal will hit it because I don't think the demo comes with that great navigational functionality. It may, I just may not know how to use it, but in any case, we'll give it a go. So, alright, so let's go to Launchpad. Here we go again on the Launchpad. The first recording I did, the engine sounds were still too loud on the recording, so I decided to reshoot it. Plus, I didn't get that close to the moon, so I thought I'd give myself another chance. I did modify my Alice rocket, named after Alice Cramden, with another stack of fuel in the second stage to give us a bit more push towards the moon. So the first stage will probably burn out a little bit lower down, but we should end up with more fuel overall. So again, the first stage has 9 solid rocket boosters that will be jettisoned when they burn out, and then 9 liquid engines, 6 of which are thrust vectoring for stability. So we're going to throttle up to maximum, engage the computer, and off we go. So everything's going nicely. So I'm going to try and get up to around 70,000 meters, then pitch over and head for the moon. Since I'm doing this basically by dead directing, it's probably not going to be fuel efficient. So the more fuel I can lift up into orbit or as close to it, there go the solid rockets. They're all burnt out. So as the more fuel I can get for, maneuvering toward the moon, the better off I will be. You can see we slowed down after jettisoning the rockets, and now we're gaining speed again. As the fuel burns, the rocket actually becomes lighter and more fuel efficient, so you'll see the efficiency increase on the first stage as the fuel burns down. So far so good. Let's pull back, see if we can see any of the thrust vectoring happen. You can kind of see the flames wiggle back and forth, or the exhaust wiggle back and forth. That's where the ship's vectoring thrust to maintain its stability, which is pretty cool. At least I think so. So the first stage is about halfway burnt out. You can see the thrust vectoring is starting to happen. I believe these fins up at the top become less efficient as the atmosphere starts to get thinner. So that's why these will start. You can see it more obviously now. So crossing 13,000 meters, so far so good. And the center three rockets, since they are bigger, consume fuel more quickly, so they'll burn out just a bit faster than the six thrust vectoring rockets. So they'll burn just a bit longer before we end our first stage. So the ship's picking up a little bit of a roll here. That's okay, crossing 20,000 meters. You can see the atmosphere is getting thinner and thinner. And the center three rockets have now burned out, and then the six outboard rockets are still burning. You can see we're still accelerating, so all is still good. Got a little spin, but that's okay. And first stage is just about done. Jettison the first stage, and we'll toggle the computer to stabilize the ship and kick off the second stage. So I want to get up to about, as I said, about 70,000 meters. You'll see the rest of the first stage falling away in three pieces. And you can see without that first stage, the ship is much more stable. These are not thrust vectoring rockets because we really don't need them. We got good speed and approaching 50,000 meters. All systems nominal. I'm not exactly sure what nominal means, but people use it for space travel, so I figure it's good luck. And so we have a total of, let's see, nine tanks, I guess. Yes, on the second stage. So we're about a third of the way done and crossing 70,000. I'm going to throttle down right now, turn the computer off, and see which... Okay, so the ship is pointed almost the way we want. So there. And let's turn the computer back off. And we're going to pitch over to the moon. And what I'm going to do is just kind of line up a little bit above the moon. And stop it right there. And let's go back up. Running your rockets at less than maximum velocity in the gravitational well of the planet is very inefficient. So I'm going to go back up to full speed as soon as possible. Alright, so you can see we're accelerating away. So what I'd like to do is get close to a moon trajectory with the second stage, and then basically use the last stage for adjustments to get as close as possible. I still don't think we'll hit it, but we'll see how close we get. Pull back a little bit. So you can see we're still, the planet is still quite large from this perspective. In fact, let's pitch up a little bit relative to the planet, because that's going to continue to drag us down. So we'll want to, whoops, rolling a little bit. That's going to continue to drag us down relative to the moon, so we want to compensate for that, I think. See, I'm just making course corrections to get as close as possible. And I'm just using the axis of the rocket as a reference point as far as, obviously the thrust is going back. So if I say, okay, if I'm going this way, then, I'm pretty much on course for the moon. and shooting a little bit above it. So this is still in real time. I think what I'll do is I'll burn the second stage a little bit longer and see how we are doing. Although when you're this close to the planet, I think the further you get away, the better off you are. So who knows, maybe I'll just burn this all the way down and then use the final stage to try and course correct. That might be the smartest course of action. So you can kind of see just by watching the moon what our relative trajectory is. And you can kind of see it's rising versus the spacecraft, which I think means I'm a little bit too low. So I'll just adjust upwards so that we're traveling more away from the planet than kind of along it. And then, so the moon's hidden behind the second stage, and you can see it creeping up still. So let me adjust some more. And we're going roughly 3,000 meters a second, so that's a good clip. So hopefully, by the time we burn out, which will be soon, and it is now, then you can kind of see what our relative velocity versus the planet will be. Let's ditch the second stage. There you go. You can see separation. Kind of neat. If the rockets aren't burned out when you separate a stage, they keep burning out of control, so it'll basically push into the stage in front of it, which is messy if you hit the spacebar prematurely. And again, this is still the demo version, so you can kind of do this. Let's get the computer going so we stop rolling. You can do this without buying the full version. Alright, so let's just see how we're doing. We'll increase the time dilation. You can see, so I'm going, what, 10 times? Yes, this is 10 times speed. You can see how fast we're moving away from the planet. And there's the second stage. Our relative speed is decreasing, but we're going 3,000 meters a second, so that's still pretty darn good. And you can see the moon is rising relative to our ship, so that means that we're kind of being pulled down, I think, by the planet. But you can see even the planet's becoming more behind us than below us. So let's just see how it goes. So let's increase this to 50. That's kind of fast. Back to 10. Alright, do my first correction burn. So turn the, I need the, so I hit random keys. Whoa! You can see how much more responsive the ship is now that it's just this one little stage. Is this, yeah, this is one. It's not what I wanted. So this is actually on its side. There we go. I want to go up. There we go. 0G maneuvering with Hale. That's down. I think the ship's actually upside down, but that's okay. Alright, let's do a little bitty burn. So we just have two fuel tanks. This is our stabilizing computer, and then obviously the stabilizing fins are all attached. There's the command module. So I'll do a little burn. Should put us over on course. So let us throttle down and see how we're looking. Now the moon is setting, so we're actually going the wrong way. Alright, so let us tip down. Down, not up. That's up. Yeah, I think we're upside down. That's all right. You can see how small the planet is. So you can see this is in real time now. You can see we're still being attracted by the planet, but the gravitational pull is so slight that it's almost non-existent. And let's accelerate. So this is below the moon. So this should put us more on, what I would euphemistically call a collision course. So let's say it seems like it's setting ever so slightly relative to our ship. This is probably the closest I've come. Hopefully I don't screw it up. Just do another burn. Now we don't want to go too fast because we want the moon to kind of pull us in. So let's see how this works. So I'll accelerate to 50 times. And you can see the planet, and there's the moon. And I do believe I do need to go down. Oops, down. Let's do a more significant burn. That should be good. And let's cut off just with about our half our fuel remaining. And let's see. So you can see this is 10 times, 50 times. It's still going down on us, so don't let your moon go down on me. Alright. One more burn. Uh-oh, you know what? I put this fuel tank up here, and it's blocked from feeding to the engine by the computer. The computer. So this fuel tank is above the computer, and it's not going to get to the engine, so we're actually out of gas. Alright, so let's see. I thought I had another fuel tank to play with. So let's see how close we get. This might be good enough. So there's the planet. There's the moon. If I had one more fuel tank, I don't think we're going to get quite close enough. So we're probably in the gravitational pull of the moon now, since it's closer to the planet. But I don't know, since we're going so fast, if that's going to be enough. If I had enough fuel, I could do like a braking maneuver and fire right towards the moon. But as you can see, we're going past it. This is, again, 50 times speed. So I would hazard we're being pulled back towards the moon, but I don't think it's going to be enough to keep us there. So let's just see what happens. Yeah, I didn't even notice that. When I was playing around and adding more fuel, I put a fuel tank in the wrong spot. All right, should we go up to 100? So you can see the gravitational attraction on us is just so slight that we'll probably just end up going off in deep space. You can see the sun, which must be over here. Yep. You can see it reflecting off the planet, which is really nice. Thousand times as we bid farewell. But we got close. I think we did pretty darn good. Not great, but good. So anyway, this has been showing you the demo as far as what you could do. In theory, if you were good and you know what you were doing, I'm guessing you could hit the moon without too much trouble. And yeah, I think we have just left the Kerbal planetary orbit. Now we're in deep space, just kind of floating out in the middle of nowhere. So I'm going to end the video right here, and I'm going to go get the real version, and we can see what we do with that. Thank you very much. I appreciate you watching.